This topic is it is in continuation of the previous lecture, which was solution of nonlinear first order PDE. So we have seen in the last lecture that Charpit method is there to solve nonlinear first order PDE. And what was the method? The method was just to first keep all terms on the one side to make it in the standard form. Then we write the Charpit's auxiliary equations. Then we find one pair out of these auxiliary equations to get one relation between P and Q, and we use that relation with the given equation, given PDE, to get the values of P and Q in terms of X, Y, Z. And finally, we substitute these values of P and Q in terms of X, Y, Z. In that equation, dz is equal to PDX plus QDY, so that this equation is integrable. So that is our objective, to make this equation dz is equal to PDX plus QDY integrable, and whenever we find the integration, we get our complete solution. Now there are some special cases in Charpit's method, and the special cases are nothing but the simplification. Means whenever the nonlinear first order PD is in particular form, then we can skip some steps in the Charpit's method. So the method is same Charpit's method, but suppose the equation does not contain X, does not contain Y or Z. So the process is we using the Charpit's method, the process is getting easy. So this is the purpose, and this is what I have written here. Given first order nonlinear PDE, means this is our given equation, which is non-linear and first order. And when this PD is, which is in equation 1, is of some special form, and what are those forms we will discuss just after a few seconds, then the Charpit equations, means auxiliary equation, are simplified and the required solution is obtained very easily. Following are the special cases in Charpit's method. So there is no burden if you don't remember these cases, because these cases are also solved using the Charpit's method. So if in case you don't remember these cases, then there is no problem. So you simply solve this question with the Charpit's method. There is no problem. But if you remember these cases, so we can reduce some steps, the initial steps in the Charpit method. That is the purpose only. So what is the special cases? What are these special cases? The first form, the case 1, the first special case is which is when PD is independent of X, Y, Z. That means the given partial differential equation is independent of X, Y, Z. Means the given differential equation does not contain any term of X, any term of Y, any term of Z. So whatever the equation 1 was, the function of X, Y, Z, PQ. So now we, in this form, we don't have X terms, we don't have Y terms, we don't have Z terms. Only P and Q are there. So if this is the first case or first special form in Charpit's method, when the given differential equation does not contain any term including X, Y or Z, means the terms are only with the P terms or the Q terms. So this is our given equation in case. So this is, suppose this is our nonlinear first order PDE, which is independent of X, Y, Z, which does not have any term like X, Y and Z. So suppose we don't remember this case, and now simply apply that Charpit's method, because that is applicable for nonlinear first order PDE. And this is first order PDE because it contains the first order derivatives P and Q, and this is function of PQ. That means P or P and Q, these terms may be of any degree. That means it is non-linear. So suppose this is our non-linear first order PDE. So if we apply Charpit method to solve this equation, so what we get, we first apply the write the Charpit's auxiliary equation, and if I hope you remember the formula, the Charpit equations, which is dx over minus del f over del p, dy over minus del f over del q, dz over minus del p minus p del f over del p minus q del f over del q, and dp over what was there, del f over del x plus p del f over del z. So if you remember, otherwise I can show you that those auxiliary equations. It is here. These dp over del f over del x plus p del f over del z, and similarly dq over del f over del y del f over del z. Now what we are saying that in particular case one means in this special case one, we don't have terms of x or y or z. So if the x term is not there, then the differentiation of f with respect to x would be 0. So this term is 0. Similarly, del f over del z, and there is no term containing z. So this derivative is also 0. So 0 plus p into 0 means total 0. Similarly for dq, this is del f over del y, and there is no term containing y. So this term is 0. This derivative is 0. Similarly, del f over del z, there is no term containing z. So this del f over del z is also 0. So 0 plus q into 0, 0. So dp over 0, dq over 0. So we are getting this kind of auxiliary equation pair. So even if we apply Charpit method, so we always get the denominator of dp as 0 and denominator of dq as 0, because this is that type of case, means where there is no term which contains x or y or z. So always we get denominator 0 and 0, dp over 0, dq over 0. So because the now what is the next step in Charpit method, we select one pair to get the values of p and q in terms of x, y, z. So this is that pair, because this is easily integrable, dp over 0, dq over 0. So if we take this dp over 0, so simply by taking this fraction equal to any of the fraction, this 0 will convert that fraction to 0. So dp is equal to 0. Similarly, if we take any fraction equals to this fraction, so dq over 0, so this 0 will again convert that fraction on the left hand side to 0. So dq is equal to 0. So taking any of the following, dp over 0 is equal to any fraction, that means dp is equal to 0, 0 would multiply here, and so if we integrate this, dp is equal to 0, what we get, the integration of dp is p is equal to 1 integrating constant, so a. So p is equal to a, one solution. Similarly, if we take dq over 0 is equal to any fraction, what we get, this 0 would go on this side, so dq is equal to 0, and on integration we get q is equal to 1 arbitrary constant. So either we can use this or this, because in Charpit method, after solving one pair, we get one relation in p and q, and that relation with the given equation, we solve those for p and q values in terms of x, y, z, then we integrate. So the choice means whether you have to take this one, so whether you have to take p is equal to a or q is equal to a, it depends on the question. We can take any of these two equation, p, either p is equal to a or q is equal to a. It depends on the given problem. Why I'm saying this, because suppose this is what we have to do, we are getting one value from here, p is equal to a suppose, then we have to get the value of q. So we substitute this p is equal to a in this given equation. P is equal to, so what we get, function of aq is equal to 0. And now we have to solve this for q. So we will get the value of q from here. So if suppose this equation is it's such that we can solve it for p easily, or we can solve it for q easily. So if we can solve it for p easily, then we substitute value of a, or if it is solvable, it is easily solvable for q, then we will substitute the value of p. Otherwise we don't have to take any burden. You use any of the equation, either p is equal to a or q is equal to a. So just I have written this choice of uh, p is equal to a or q is equal to, depends on the given problem. You can use any of the equation, then we solve for q. Suppose I have selected this p is equal to a, then I will substitute p is equal to a here. So we get mm, from here f of aq is equal to 0. Now we can get the value of q from here, and which is q is equal to function of a. So this is because everything will go on the right hand side, so q is will be in the terms of a, because it contains two terms only, a and q. So whenever we solve it for q, we will get the value of q in terms of a. So suppose that is function, any function of a. So now we have got the values of p and q. Now what we do in Charpit's method, we substitute these values p of p or q, p and q in this equation. Dz is equal to pdx plus q dy. So substitute p is a and q is function of a, and a is arbitrary constant. So this is integrable, and this is also easily integrable. So we apply integration. So the dz integration is z, a dx integration is x, dy integration is y, and we add one integrating constant, and that is small b. So this is our complete solution, which contains two arbitrary constant a and small b. So this is the special case one, where the function, the given differential equation does not contain the terms of x, of y, of z. It contains only p and q. Then directly, so if you don't remember this case, even then there is no problem, because you simply apply the Charpit's method, because it is applicable for nonlinear first order PD. So so if this is the case, so directly we can reduce these steps. Means we don't have to write the steps from here to this point. Directly you observe that this is in equation in case 1, means contains p and q terms only. So then we know that in this case the p, either p is equal to a or q is equal to a. So directly from here we can move to here. So this is the means so in this way we are reducing some steps. So either you simply apply Charpit method from here, this point to this point, so there is no problem. Otherwise we can move directly from this step to this step by simply saying this is in standard form 1, means case 1. So we know by using Charpit equation we can get p is equal to a or q is equal to a. So this is you have to write. So this is the use of that case 1 only. Otherwise the steps are similar as we were doing in the Charpit's method. So now these are some remarks I have. I think we have already discussed these terms: general solution, singular solution. But simply I want to remind you these terms, the general, how to find general solution. So for general solution, what we do in complete solution, we have to find complete solution. In complete solution, we write function of a in the place of b. So this is psi of a because we are already using phi a. So we cannot write b is equal to phi of a. So another function of a. So write b is equal to function of a in the complete solution. So this is our complete solution. Write replace b by a function of a, so that is equal to ax function of a y, and we are writing psi a function as value of b. Now this totally comes in the terms of a. Now what we have to do for general solution, differentiate this equation with respect to a, so we are getting this. Now what we do, we say that we have to eliminate a from these two equations, these three equations. Complete solution, equation 2, not actually equation 1, because we have to eliminate every arbitrary constant, so we cannot use this equation. Simply this, you have this equation, means substitute value of b in terms of a, so this is one equation, and other is the differentiation differentiation of this equation with respect to a. So this is that equation. Now using these two equations, we have to eliminate a, so we have to get one equation which is free from a. That is our general solution. So if we simply can get that equation which is free from a, that is our general solution. Otherwise, if we cannot eliminate, we are unable to eliminate a, then we simply write that now general solution is obtained by eliminating a from these two equations. Just this is our object. So if the elimination is possible, we eliminate that and find that equation. Otherwise, we simply write that general solution is obtained by eliminating a from these two equations. And what we do for singular solution, if you remember, we did some questions also to find how to find out the singular solution. So this is if this is our complete solution, what we do, we differentiate it with respect to a, we differentiate it with respect to b. Now we have two equations, and now our objective is to eliminate both a and b from these equations, finding one equation which is free from a and b. So using these two equations, we have to eliminate a and b, means finding the value of a and b in terms of x, y, z, and then we substitute those values in this equation. In complete solution is our singular solution. But we know that singular solution does not exist for every PDE. We have to see that whether the singular solution exists or does not exist. So in this case, if you have been asked that find the singular solution, then I'm telling that in this case, if the question is in the standard form 1, means case 1, then there does not exist singular solution. Why I'm saying this? Because this is your singular solution, sorry, this is your complete solution. Now this is the differentiation with respect to a, so we are getting x plus 5 dash a y is equal to 0, and now we are differentiating it with respect to b. So what we are getting, 0 0 0 plus 1, differentiation with respect to b. So we are getting 0 is equal to 1, which is invalid equation, which is not possible in any case. So because of this equation, we say that for this PDE, singular solution does not exist. So if the question, the given PDE is in the standard form 1 or case 1, where it is free from x, y, z, then in that case, there does not exist singular solution. Otherwise, how to find singular solution? Just remember that you have one complete solution. Next, we have to differentiate complete solution with respect to a, and with the differentiation of complete solution with respect to b, we have three equations. So just we have to eliminate a and b from these equations. So if the elimination is possible, then singular solution exists. Otherwise, it does not exist. So this is the process. In any case, when you have to find out the singular solution, you just write complete solution, differentiate it with respect to a, with respect to b, and out of these equations you have to eliminate a and b, finding one equation which is free from a and b. That is our singular solution. It may exist or it may not exist. The elimination must be possible. So, and what is the, so you know how to find general solution, how to find singular solution. Now the remark 3, if the given equation is not in the form of case 1, means free from x, y, z, then using some substitution or some particular transformation, we can convert any not any equation, some particular type of equations in case 1. So it is not that only you have to see that whether x is there, y is there, z is there. By using some substitution, we can convert the PDE in the standard form 1, case 1. So we will see the question from this remark also, means where the question is not directly in this form, but we can make that equation in this form by using some particular transformation. So now the questions find the complete solution of the following PDE. So this is the given partial differential equation, p square plus q square is equal to m square. M square is any constant. So p square plus c square, that means this is non-linear and first order because it contains p and q. Only they are first order derivatives, and because the power is more than 1, so this is non-linear first order PDE. So we can apply Char-Pitts method. But otherwise, if you don't remember this case 1, you directly apply Char-Pitts method, because you know that any non-linear first order PDE can be solved by Char-Pitts method. You just apply that method. If you remember this case, that if this equation does not contain x, does not contain y, does not contain z, so this is in standard form 1 or case 1. Since it does not contain x, y, z, given PD is of the form f pq is equal to 0. It has the terms with p and q only. M is constant. So constant will not change your answer. So this is case 1 question, and in case 1 directly we can write that using, you have to write, I have not written it, but you have to write that because this is in case 1, so using the Char-Pitts auxiliary equation, we have p is equal to a, that you have to write. Using Char-Pitts equation, we have p is equal to a. Now what is the process is same. Now we have to find out the value of q. So p is a, substitute, what we do, we substitute this value in equation 1 to get q. So equation is p square plus q square is equal to m square. Now for a, we can write a for p. So a square plus q square is equal to m square. So q square is equal to m square minus a square. And so finally q is square root of m square minus a square. So we have got the values of p and q. P is a, q is square root of m square minus a square. Now we have to substitute this in this equation. Dz is equal to pdx plus q dy. So dz is equal to p is a and q is square root m square minus a square. So these are simply integrable terms. Dz, the integration is z, dx integration is x, dy integration is y, and this is the integrating constant. So this is our complete solution. Next question, again the question is q pq plus p square. So this is in standard form 1 because it has p, it has q, but it is free from x, y, z. Here one thing is to notice that we have to find the general solution also. So for general solution also we have to find out the complete solution, because it can be derived from complete solution. So first find out the complete solution. So this is free from x, y, z. So this is in the form of fpq is equal to 0. That is case 1 question. Now it is, as it is independent of x, y, z, I have written the reason. So take p is equal to k, q a, or q is equal to a. Anything you can take depending on, because वो जो concept था कि क्या आपको use करना है, p is equal to a या q is equal to a. So I told you that based on this question you select either p is equal to a or q is equal to a. Means this question must be solvable for that variable. If अगर आपने p is equal to a use किया है तो p आप यहाँ रखेंगे a square. So q can be calculated easily. सपोज अगर इसी केस में आपने अगर q is equal to a यूज किया तो q is equal to a is equal to pa. So this is a quadratic equation in p. this equation will become a is equal to a p plus p square. अभी आपको करना क्या है, p की वैल्यू फाइंड आउट करनी है. सो p की वैल्यू कैसे फाइंड आउट होगी, दिस इज क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन, p square plus ap is equal to a. so you have to get the roots of quadratic equation. so आपको क्या अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, वही p is equal to minus b plus minus square root b square minus 4a upon 4ac upon 2a. so उस फॉर्मूले से आपको p की वैल्यू मिलेगी. so that is more difficult in comparison to find out the value of q. so that was my remark, that you can use either of these forms, but you select that one which from which you can get the other variable easily. अदरवाइज क्या होगा, क्योंकि ये p की वैल्यू स्क्वायर रूट में रहेगी तो इंटीग्रेशन थोड़ा सा टफ होगा. वैसे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, आप कोई भी यूज कर सकते हो. In both the way we are getting our we will get our complete solution. But if you want to make the question easy, so it depends, then you want to keep your question easy, or you can go for the typical one. So just select that, either p is equal to a or q is equal to a. So but before writing this, I want you to write that equation on that that text also, that because it is in the form of fpq is equal to 0. so by using Charpit's auxiliary equation, we get p is equal to a or q is equal to a. Do not write directly this, take p is equal to a or q is equal to a. Write using Charpit's auxiliary equation, we get p is equal to a or q is equal to a. so here I have selected p is equal to a because q is easy to get. uh, uh, it is easy to get q from this equation. Otherwise we can use q is equal to a also. so now to get q from equation 1, q is equal to pq plus p square. Solve it for q. so getting q common, this is 1 minus p is equal to p square. now q is equal to p square by 1 minus p. now q is equal to, what is p? P is a, so a square upon 1 minus a. so now we have got the value of q and p, and I have written that a is not equal to 1, because if a is equal to 1, then this denominator is 0, so q value will be infinite, which is not valid term, which cannot be integrated. so whenever a, this arbitrary constant, is not equal to 1, we have the complete solution. If a is 1, then this process fails. so just write a is not equal to 1, otherwise the process is same. so we have got the values of p and q. so write here dz is equal to p dx plus q dy, and substitute the value of p and q. so p is a and q is a square by 1 minus a. just integrate that. z is equal to ax a square by 1 minus a into y plus 1 integrating constant b, and write a is not equal to 1, otherwise solution is not valid. now remember that in this question we have to find out the general solution also. so it is written here, find out the general solution also. so what we do for general solution, so we do one thing to get general solution, that we write the complete solution. so this is a complete solution. now what we do, we write b is equal to function of a in complete solution. so because psi a, or because we are not using here any function phi, so you can write phi of a also, whatever, it is a function of a. so whether you write f a, g a, phi a, psi a, you can write anything in terms of function. So put b is equal to phi a in terms of in complete solution. so z is equal to ax plus a square by 1 minus a y plus b की जगह हमने क्या लिखा, function of a. now differentiated with respect to a, so we are getting the differentiation like this. I hope you can differentiate it with respect to a. z is 0, the differentiation of this term with respect to a is x, because we are differentiating with respect to a. so this is 1. so now again you have to differentiate it with respect to a. so this is u upon v type, function of a divided by function of a. so using division formula for differentiation, and this is psi a, so differentiation is psi dash a. so now get the general solution, because the elimination is not possible. You can observe from these equations that the elimination of A is very typical, or maybe it is impossible. So we simply write general solution is obtained by eliminating A from equation 2 and 3. So in this way we will get our general solution. Now again, that remark 3 was that if it is not in the standard form, then by using some particular substitution we can make PD in the form of this. Not all PDE, but some particular types of PDE we can convert those in the standard form 1 or case 1. Like in this equation, since given PDE includes variables x, y, z, so it is not in standard form f p key is equal to 0, but we can make it in this form using transformation this. So this is that transformation using which we can make the given equation in the standard form 1. So this is not the unique transformation, means for this question it will work, but for other question it may work or it may not work. So the transformation is not unique. एक ही transformation से सारे question solve नहीं होंगे. कब कौन सा ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन लगेगा? सो देयर इज नो फिक्स रूल, means you have to explore the questions only. So we have only one solution कि तो इसके लिए कोई particular form नहीं है कि इस form से ये question उस form में convert हो जाएगा, but this question is can be converted in that form using this transformation. So अब इसके लिए कोई फॉर्मूला नहीं है कि आप इस क्वेश्चन में ऐसा कर लीजिए, इस क्वेश्चन में ऐसा कर लीजिए. Simply you have to practice the more questions. तो जितने क्वेश्चन आप ट्राई करोगे उतनी ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन आपको याद रहेगी कि क्या क्या ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हो सकती है. ठीक है, तो इसके लिए कोई रूल नहीं है. मैं या कोई और भी कोई रूल नहीं बता सकता आपको कि ये इस रूल से सारे क्वेश्चन सॉल्व हो जाएंगे. 10 क्वेश्चन होंगे तो हो सकता है 10 ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन यूज होंगे. तो जितने क्वेश्चन आप प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो उतने ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन आपको याद हो जाएंगे. ठीक है. So this is the transformation using which we can convert this equation into standard form 1. Means what is the problem? We have to eliminate x, we have to eliminate y, we have to eliminate z, because in the standard form there are p and q only. So otherwise every variable we have to eliminate. So use this transformation. So this is, we are converting x into u. X is equal to function of u, y is equal to function of v, and z is equal to function of w. Means we are changing x into u, y into v, z into w. So now till now we have z as our dependent variable, x and y are independent variable, but after this transformation w would be our dependent variable, because w is in terms of z and z is a function of xy, and now x is a function of u, y is a function of v. So z, now w is a function of z, z is a function of u and v. So the total transformation, the variables have been changed. So what you have to do? So this, if we have taken x is equal to e to the power u, that means u would be log x. You can differentiate it, means apply log on this equation. Log x is equal to log of e to the power u, so it will become u. Similarly, log y will be equal to v, and log z is equal to w. Now converting p, because now the dependent variable z has been changed into w, so the derivative will also be changed. So p is equal to del z over del x, and z is a function of x, and now x is a function of u. So first we convert it, means we differentiate it with respect to u. So del z over del u and del u over del x. So this is the value of this del z over del x. So del z over del u over del x, and what is del u over del x? If you differentiate it with respect to x, so del u over del x is equal to 1 by x from this. So del z over del u into 1 over x. Now keeping this x on this side, so x P is equal to del Z over del U. This is first equation. Again, Q is equal to del Z over del Y, and now Y has been changed into V. Y is now in terms of V. So del Z over del Y will be equal to del Z over del V and del V over del Y. And what is the value of del V over del Y? 1 over Y. Again, this Y will go on the left hand side. So YQ is equal to del Z over del V. Again, because the W Z has also been changed in W, so del W over del U. Now W, suppose W is a function of Z and Z is a function of XY and XY are function of UV. So W is a function of U and V. So del W over del U is equal to, first we will differentiate it with respect to Z, then differentiate Z with respect to U. So del W over del Z and del Z over del U. And what is del Z over del U from here? Del Z over del U, sorry, del Z over del U, we already solved this. Del Z over del U is equal to XP. So this is XP from this equation. And del W over del Z means we have to differentiate this with respect to Z. Del W over del Z. So del W over del Z is equal to 1 by Z. So 1 by Z. So Z will go on this side. So Z into del W over del U is equal to XP. Similarly, del W over del V, and so we are differentiating it with respect to Z, del W over del Z over del V. So this is, we are applying the rules of total differentiation. Because there are so many relations are there. W is a function of Z, Z is a function of X and Y, but X and Y are function of U and V. So W is indirectly is a function of U and V. So similarly, del W over del Z is 1 by Z, and del Z over del V from this equation, it is YQ. So YQ. So YQ. So Z will go on this side. So Z del W over del V is equal to YQ. So we have got two transformation, this and this. Now, what was the question? So now we have to substitute in the given equation. So given equation was, means our given PDE was x square p square plus y square q square is equal to z square. Now xp, the value of xp from this equation is z del w over del u. So z del w over del u square. Now again, value of yq is z del w over del v. So this is z del w over del v square. And right hand side we have kept same z square. Now z square is here, z square is here, z square is here. So we can cancel out the z square terms. So z square is it has been eliminated. So what is left? Del w over del u square, del w over del v square is equal to 1. So this is now, this is first order derivative. This is first order derivative. So suppose assume del w over del u as capital P and del w over del v is equal to capital Q. Now the variables they have been changed. Initially it was z x y. Now it is w u v. So these are first order derivatives. So we have we have assumed this derivative, first order derivative, as capital P and this as capital Q. So this is now the reduced equation, transformed equation. P square plus Q square is equal to 1. These both are derivatives, P and Q. So this is an equation which is in standard form, f p q is equal to 0 in first order derivatives. उधर क्या था, वो हमारी जो फॉर्म थी वो f of small p q था, क्योंकि वेरिएबल्स क्या थे z x y. तो फर्स्ट ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव्स क्या बनते थे? del z over del x, del 0 del y, that means small p small q. बट अब हमारी इक्वेशन किसमें है? w u v. तो del w over del u, del w over del v, तो ये हमारे डेरिवेटिव्स हुए, तो उसको हमने कैपिटल p कैपिटल q अज्यूम कर लिया है. सो दिस इज इन स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म 1. वेरिएबल्स अलग है, हमारा फॉर्मेशन चेंज हुआ है. अब हमारे वेरिएबल्स हैं w u v, उसमें ये फर्स्ट फॉर्म में है, स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म f p q में है, where w is a function of u v। तो इसका सॉल्यूशन क्या होगा, इस टाइप की इक्वेशन का सॉल्यूशन क्या होगा, वहां क्या होता है dz इज इक्वल टू पी डी एक्स प्लस क्यू डी वाई, क्योंकि वेरिएबल्स क्या थे z x y, मीन्स वहां हमारा सॉल्यूशन क्या होता था, ये होता था dz इज इक्वल टू पी डी एक्स प्लस क्यू डी वाई, क्योंकि जो इक्वेशन बनती थी वो किस में बनती थी, z x y में हमारी इक्वेशन थी। अब वेरिएबल्स क्या है w u v, सो हमारा w क्या है z की जगह होगा, क्योंकि w इज डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल एंड u and v आर इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल। सो dw इज इक्वल टू दिस फर्स्ट ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव, वो अभी हमने क्या लिया है कैपिटल P, सो कैपिटल P इंटू डी यू, एंड फर्स्ट ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव मीन्स अब हमने क्या लिया है कैपिटल Q इंटू y की जगह क्या आ जाएगा v, सो डी डब्ल्यू इज इक्वल टू पी डी यू प्लस क्यू डी वी, ये हमारा नया फॉर्मूला हुआ। So this is our solution, dw is equal to p du plus q dv। So du why, because p is the derivative with respect to u, dv why, because q is the derivative with respect to v। So dz is equal to p dx plus q dy, in the same way dw is equal to p du plus q dv। So here we have to find out the value of capital P and capital Q। Now अगर कोई भी इक्वेशन फर्स्ट फॉर्म में होता है, सो वी नो दैट यूजिंग द ऑक्सिलरी इक्वेशन व्हाट वी गेट, द स्मॉल p इज इक्वल टू a, और q की वैल्यू हमें फाइंड आउट करनी होती है, बट यहाँ पर हमारा कैपिटल P, स्मॉल p की जगह कैपिटल P है, स्मॉल q की जगह कैपिटल Q है। सो टेक यूजिंग ऑक्सिलरी, सो दिस इज इन स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म 1 and we know for standard form 1 using Charpit's auxiliary equation we get p is equal to a, here small p is capital P, so capital P is equal to a। Now we substitute this in equation 1 in the given equation, means जो भी हमें फॉर्म मिला है उस फॉर्म में हम रखते हैं। So substitute this in equation 2 to get capital Q। So a square plus q square is equal to 1, so q square would be 1 minus a square। So what is q, q is square root of 1 minus a square। So these values we have to substitute, so substitute here dw is equal to p du plus q dv, next capital P is small a and capital Q is square root 1 minus a square। Now integrate this, so on integration dw is w, du is u and dv is v, and one integrating constant। Now this is the solution, this is the complete solution of this equation, equation 2, but original equation was equation 1। So back substitute the values to get our original complete solution। So w was equal to log z, u was equal to log x, and v was equal to log y। So this is our final complete solution। So using this transformation we can means we were able to convert that equation into in the standard form 1। So this is the process in the same way, this equation is again not in standard form 1 because it contains x and y। So z, of course z is not there, but it must not contain x, y, z, all three variables, but here we have x and y, so this is not in standard form 1, but again we can make it in this form by using transformations। And what are those transformations? Here we have to substitute x plus y is equal to u, xy is equal to v। So this is something typical for students, because even for teachers also, because this transformation is not fixed to convert any equation, so it takes a lot of analysis। means जिन्होंने भी transformation किया होगा उन्होंने काफी analysis किया होगा कि how to means हमें इसमें करना क्या है, हमें x और y को eliminate करना है। अगर x y यहाँ से हट जाएंगे तो ये standard form 1 में हो जाएगा, but वो x y कैसे हटेंगे, हमें कुछ substitution इस तरह से लेना पड़ेगा। तो ये transformation for every equation, this transformation is not fixed, it varies with the question। So कोई फिक्स नहीं है, इसलिए आपको सारे क्वेश्चंस प्रैक्टिस ही करने पड़ेंगे। दिस इज द ओनली सॉल्यूशन। So for this equation x plus y is equal to e and xy is equal to v will work। So suppose we have substituted this, so again now what we have done in the previous question, we have converted x in u only, y in v only, but in this equation x plus y is equal to u. That means u is a function of both x and y. Similarly, v is a function of both x and y. But in last question, because u is log x, v is log y, so u is a function of x only, v is a function of y only. So derivatives थोड़ा change हो गया था total differentiation. But इस case में देखते हैं. So p is equal to del z over del x. हमने dependent variable change नहीं किया because z is not here. So उसको transform इसको हटाने के लिए हमें कोई transformation use नहीं करनी है. इसलिए we are not using any transformation to change the z. But in the previous question, z was there, and we have to eliminate this also because the form 1 cannot contain z. So हमने इसको भी change किया था. But here two variables are there, x and y. So we have to eliminate x and y only, not z, because z is not there. So we have not changed the dependent variable z, but the independent variable x and y. So z is z, but x, y, they have been changed in u and v. So del z over del x, now z is a function of, because z directly is function of xy, and xy are now, the xy are the functions of u and v. So total differentiation says del z over del u into del u over del x plus del z over del v plus into del v over del x, because v is also a function of x. So del u over del x is 1 and del v over del x is y. So p is equal to del z over del u plus y del z over del v. Q again del z over del y. Now again del z over del u over del y, del z over del v over del y. Again del u over del y is 1 and del v over del y is x. So q is del z over del u plus x del z over del v. Now we have to substitute these values of pq in equation 1. So y minus x is y minus x. Next qy, where is qy? So qy, this is q. We have to multiply this equation by y. So this is q into y. Next minus px. So minus, this is p and x. This is value of p. So p into x is equal to p minus q square. So this minus this square. So p minus q square. So this is p minus q square. So on the right hand side, you can observe that del z over del u minus del z over del u. So these are same terms with opposite sign. So they can be cancelled out. So del z over del u is cancelled by minus del z over del u. What is left? Y del z over del v minus x del z over del v. And on the right, left hand side, this y is multiplied here. So y del z over del u, xy del z over del v, similarly x del z over del u, xy del z over del v. So these again, these two terms are same with opposite signs, so these can be cancelled out. So what is left? Y del z over del u minus x del z over del v. This is right hand side. So on the right hand side, this is del z over del v, this is del z over del v, so it can be a common term. And what is left? Y minus x. Again this here also del z over del u, del z over del u. So this can become as common. What is left? Y minus x. So y minus x, again this is a square of this term. So y minus x square del z over del v square. So these two and this one, these are same terms on the opposite side, so these can be cancelled out. So this is cancelled. Now what is left? Del z over del u is equal to del z over del v square. Now these are first order derivatives. Del z over del u is capital P. So we have assumed that del z over del u as capital P, del z over del v as capital Q. So this is P is equal to Q square. So now this is in standard form 1. It contains only the derivatives P and Q. And this is non-linear also because square of Q is there. So for this, we know that how to get the solution. Using Charpit's equation, we know that P is equal to A. So substitute P is equal to A to get Q. So A is equal to Q square. So Q is square root A. Now we have to substitute in what was there. dz is equal to P dx plus Q dy. But here the variables z is z, but x and y have been changed into u and v. So dz is equal to P du plus q dv. So p is a, q is square root a. So on integration, z is equal to au plus square root a v plus b. B is integrating constant. Again, back substitute the values of u and v. So u is x plus y, v is xy. So this is our complete solution. So this is the third question. Again, the different transformation. Here also we have x and y, so we have to eliminate x and y. There is no z, so there is no need of the third transformation. So x plus y is equal to u square, x minus y is equal to v square. With these transformations, we can convert this equation into standard form 1. So you can go through the questions. All the questions, p square plus q square plus 1. So this contains p and q only. So p is equal to a, q is equal to something. Again, because we have not changed z, so z is z, but x is changed into u and y has been changed into v. So this is the required equation. Substitute value of p, substitute value of q. This is the general complete solution of this equation, the reduced equation. But the original solution is in, that must be in terms of x and y, because these were our original variables. So back substitute the values of u. What was u? U is square is equal to x plus y. So x plus u is square root of x plus y. Same, v square was equal to x minus y. So v is square root of x minus y. So this is case 1, where it is the equation is free from the partial differential equation is free from x, y, z. Now the second case, where the PD does not contain x and y, but it may contain z. So पहला वाला केस में x, y, z तीनों नहीं होना चाहिए. सेकंड वाले केस में z हो सकता है, but x, y नहीं हो सकते. So in this form, the question is in this form: f of z pq is equal to 0. So x is not there, y is not there. So अगर इस फॉर्म में अगर इक्वेशन होता है तो कैसे सॉल्व करना है? दिस इज केस 2. Again, if you don't remember the cases, you simply go to solve this question using Charpit's equation. You will get the same answer. Because this is non-linear equation, you apply Charpit's equation, get one integration, and use dz is equal to pdx plus qdy as solution. But what is the use, the benefit of this case, that we are reducing the terms from here to this step. So these steps are reduced. We can directly write that because it is in the form of 2, so p is equal to this. So this is the benefit of using cases. Otherwise, you simply solve this question using Charpit's method. So you have to write these steps also. We will get the same answer. So in the next lecture, we will discuss about case 2.